All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LPL Summer Split. You are watching week number 6, day number 3. It's going to be game number 2 of Starhorn Royal Club taking on Young Glory. That first game,
Yes, sir.
that was something we needed to recover from, Soldra.
I took a shot because
How many? One, just one?
I took one of chamisu. It's a Korean soju. So
Ah.
the difference in that game was the vision control. I mean, we saw, and honestly, I honestly think there was luck involved too, because sometimes when Young Glory and Starhorn Road Club would randomly catch each other out inside inside either their own or the enemy jungle, they really didn't, one of them either had the top laner or the other one didn't. I mean, and I think Cola on his Jax was, I think his MVP title was really deserved for that game. He did split push well. He did team fight extremely well, actually. Always managed to take down Jinlong, rendered Jinlong ineffective almost. But you when if you're a member of Young Glory, right, and you know that the other team, whether it be EDG, whether it be OMG, whether it be Starhorn Royal Club, which you know is a team that's prone to tilting, and which you know is a team that rarely wins what they get behind, when you know that your team spikes in the first 25 minutes in the game, you really have to make a move. And we just saw that Young Glory seemed incapable of doing that. And I don't think that they lacked the tools to do it, because I think that the vision control was relatively good, and obviously, I think they give up the first dragon, but I think the next 3 or 4 dragons Young Glory was able to take. So the objective control was relatively good, right? But
Yeah. I mean,
just
that was...
YG lacked confidence. I think that was really interesting.
They really
to
needed
watch.
to push the early game advantages a lot more than they did, and that resulted in ceding a lot of ground unnecessarily to Starhorn, who just took advantage of it when they had a later game comp. But both teams really did not play engagements well. They seemed very lost, and it was uncharacteristic of Starhorn, I think. And Young Glory might still be reeling from their 0-2 last week, or excuse me, yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was a little out there, but on something completely different. I want to talk about this pennant that one of the Chinese casters is wearing. It's Joker. He's got a Captain America logo on him. That's really cool.
That'll get you thrown in prison.
Apparently.
No, I'm joking.
No.
No,
We're not dragging him away just yet.
We're letting
it.
Joker is very popular, in fact, in the Chinese League of Legends scene. I think Games in Asia did an article on likening Chinese casters to American personalities, and I believe that one of them was considered, I think Joker was considered either the freak or the Jat of Chinese League of Legends. So obviously he's a very well-respected, very talented man in the Chinese League of Legends biosphere. But I do want to say that, and yes, Kelsey is right, Joker did play for Team World Elite. He was actually one of the first inceptions of Team World Elite. So I do want to say this, though. If Starhorn Royal Club expects to qualify for the Season 4 World Championships with that kind of play, then they should disband right now, because they're not going to be going anywhere outside of China if they continue playing like that.
You're not taking one shot. You're taking several here.
And honestly, and I mean, here's the thing. You have to question whether... Because I'm sure that Zero and Insect both came to the Chinese LPL expecting to win, right? And the Chinese fans expect them to win as well, even though there already had been, before they had played their first game in the LPL, questions about Korn and Cola. But
It really was very uncoordinated this last game.
Right. So all I'm saying is that you have to wonder, if Starhorn Royal Club doesn't make it to the Season 4 World Championships, whether players like Insect and or Zero, who came primarily to win, will decide to stick around for Season 5. So, I mean, Starhorn Royal Club, they're feeling the pressure right now, and they really need to step up their game before the LPL summer season playoffs.
Well,
and if they don't, then, I mean, they're not going anywhere. And if they play like this, they're going to lose to teams like LGD like 7 times out of 10. I mean, they're that bad.
Yeah, they've definitely got to step this one up, considering they're still in the top 4. However, they are 1 more point up right now, and they have a chance to remain in that slot tonight as the next game of this series after this will be Invictus Gaming taking on OMG, and if Invictus Gaming can't take games off of OMG, Starhorn looking good to stay in that slot. However, if it goes 1-1 and somehow Invictus Gaming 2-0 over OMG, they get overtaken here. So Starhorn definitely has something to lose. They won't fall out of playoff contention tonight, but still, they're dangerously close to the rest of the teams that are still within the top 6 of LPL, and they have to play better than that if they want to stay in that point. I mean, anybody has shown that they can beat Young Glory with few exception. However,
right. I mean,
yeah,
the thing
you've got to play better than
yeah.
that
I mean, the thing is though, right, is that Starhorn Road Club is a team that basically plays very linearly, and that, you know, especially in best of ones or best of 2 formats, that it's a very 50-50 play style, right? If they get ahead, they completely stomp you. If they get behind in the early game, then they falter, go on tilt, and just get destroyed. And we've seen so many examples of that. The thing is, though, is that play style does not work in a best of 3 or even less in a best of 5. So, really, I mean, SHRC has to change, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we got to see how they do going forward. But guys, we'll be taking a really quick break while we wait to get into game number 2. Champ selection not quite started, but please, until then, enjoy the brief commercial break. Once again, you're watching the LPL English coverage. We will be right back.
CG is really valuable because it allows us to bring our champions to life. It allows us to get up close and personal with our champions in a completely unconstrained way. We know that each champion has very iconic, distinctive moves that our players recognize. So we're constantly trying to be as authentic as possible and as close to the game as we can be. We're going to try to hit that. One of the difficult things is, as artists, we can't take what happens in the game and interpret it completely literally. Garen's a perfect example. If Garen was just spinning around the CG the whole time, we would have what feels like a cartoon. We saw the cut of the Garen scene, it didn't have the spin. Garen is not Garen if there's no spin, so how can we make a spin? It's not like a literal interpretation, and then Brad got up and he did his thing.
I stood up and I was like, it could look like this, and I whipped around, kicked the chair into the wall, kicked his wall, and the whole time he's just screaming, yes, yes, yes! And that was it. That was like the birth of it. And so I sat down and I started gesture drawing over the actual animation itself.
There was a lot of back and forth on getting that to look really authentic to Garen, but in a new way. It was a nod to what happens in the game, but completely appropriate.
Another example is TF moving in on Fiddle. He's going to initiate that with the yellow card. So if there's an opportunity to keep it authentic, that's what we're doing.
Why not motion capture? If we're trying to sell realistic or believability, then why didn't we motion capture the moves? The most athletic being in the world couldn't deliver on what we need Twisted Fate to deliver on what Rise. Rise jumps 10 feet in the air to jump over that giant 400-ton pillar. We wanted to be able to break the body when we needed to create things that you could feel and not see. For instance, if you were to pause it, his back is broken. I mean, it's completely broken and he's off balance. You don't see it, but you feel how powerful he is, that it's a spine-breaking throw.
Personality is incredibly important when we're creating these champions.
Annie's cool because she's like this two-sided kind of character. She's very cute and adorable, kind of innocent looking on the outside, but then you know she's got this demonic kind of twisted inside. We decided we definitely needed to shoot video reference and kind of get some ideas going. So one of our fellow writers, Christina Wan, volunteered to do some video reference for us, and she did such an awesome job on it that the animator working on it basically just took that reference and put it on Annie. It was like interpreted brilliantly, and it just really came to life, and it became this really cool moment.
We put so many fine details into the CG that no matter how many times you watch it, you're going to notice something new every time. You may notice that Demon Blade Trindamir's sword is actually breathing for a split second. You may notice that Tibor's tongue, when he's hanging by Annie's side, is actually flopping around, hand animated. It's touches like that that we think add a little bit of extra magic to the experience. This CG for us is really a gift to the players, and we know our players want to see our champions come alive. One of the things we're really committed to is expanding on the characters, places, and the story of our world. And right now, we feel like we're just scratching the surface.
好的，各位观众，欢迎回来。那这边InSync的电脑已经装完了啊，现在正在做系统。
All right, everybody, welcome back once again to the LPL Summer Split Week number 6, day number 3, and we're going on forward with the second game of the night, the first set of the night, Starhorn World Club taking on Young Glory. And it seemed like everyone needed a much longer cooldown than initially thought after that first very sloppy game. But hopefully we'll be getting into picks and bans for game number 2 very soon. I am Pyrotechnics, joined on the desk by Hubo, Soldier, Shim. Are you ready for game number 2, Hubo?
I don't know if my body is ready. My mind's telling me I don't know if my brain is ready, you know, but my mind's telling me no. But my body's telling me to, you know, to accept this game. So my body is telling me yes, and I am very much ready. Hopefully, I don't have to take a shot after this game to help my body cope.
Might take several during the entirety of it. We'll see how this goes. I feel like Starhorn has to play better than they did last time. Not just that they need to, but that they're going to. That seemed very uncharacteristic that they've slipped up as many times as they did. Insect, he has a propensity to overextend. He did this even when he was on the KT Bullets. But I've rarely seen him make that little of an impact in a game. And,
you know, and Starhorn's been and Starhorn's, you know, played against, you know, in recent memory, I think Starhorn's they played a set today against Young Glory. They played a set yesterday against LGD, right? So they haven't been playing top tier teams recently, and that basically means that you're soon going to have best of twos against the world elites of the world, you know, the world elites of China, the OMG, EDG, you know, the top tier teams in the Chinese League of Legends Professional League. And if you're performing like this against Young Glory, it does not bode very well for your chances against the teams on the currently stand on the throne of Chinese League of Legends esports, right?
Yeah, that doesn't look like a top 4 team.
Yeah, so what SHRC has to do, I mean, they really have to make a statement here. I mean, it's obvious that they're not taking this game as seriously as they should be, but given that, you know, these theoretically should be free points, and they won't get the opportunity to, you know, play a lot of, you know, play quote unquote free matchups in the next coming weeks, they really need to play well, and that's the only solution.
Starhorn has not managed to take a 2-0 against a team since they played World Elite Academy back at the end of June. So it's been a while since they've had a commanding series against anyone. Now they have had tough competition. They got, after that they did end up losing 2 games against OMG, 1-1 against Edward Gaming, and then most recently they split last night with LGD. So they haven't had the easiest time until lately, but still, this is troubling for a team that's as highly regarded as Starhorn.
I mean,
if they cannot perform consistently. And here we go. Picks and bans underway.
And I just want to say one more thing. Let's remember that Starhorn, and it does look like I am just a second and a half behind you, but let's remember that the LPL, the way that the LPL works is that we have a 4-person playoff, right? Which means that Starhorn World Club is going to be, you know, facing off, theoretically, if they're coming 4th, against a team like EDG. And if they play like this, they're not ready to face Edward Gaming. No way, not even close. So they really need to shape up. Yeah, they need to shape up and play well against lower tier competition in order to, you know, gain a little bit of confidence and put up good showings against the premier teams in China. So they really need to get their game on point.
All right, well, picks and bans for game number 2 now. In the midst, Young Glory, once again banning out Insects, Rengar, Thresh also removed from the picture. And then the typical bans for Kale and Lulu on the side of Starhorn World Club. They don't want those to wind up in the hands of either number 1 or the mid laner Diangun, even though he's a little more of a Yasuo player anyways. Braum this time banned away from Young Glory. I think that's a pretty good choice. He was very instrumental in that last fight.
Casted in too, so this might be the Kog'Maw first pick. However, if they do give up this Kog'Maw, then Starhorn World Club would be getting the Gragas, and Kula's Gragas is not bad at all. Additionally, the Jax is still up, so Kula might go back to that Jax, where, you know, the champion that he did use to have an MVP performance in Game 1. I believe he went something like 13-5.
Yep.
But
called it, by the way, that Kog'Maw pickup. They're trying to make a power move against Uzi here.
I would be hesitant to put Zhenlong on Kog'Maw, because I don't think Zhenlong's Kog'Maw is that good. Yet, I mean, I think, you know, in 4.10, but especially in 4.11 and 4.12, Kog'Maw is probably the most overpowered, recognizably overpowered champion right now. And obviously there's a lot of debate. People talk about Yasuo, people talk about Gragas, but I think Kog'Maw is a champion that you can play with in any kind of situation. And just for a champion that scales so well into the late game, he does very well in the early game as well. So just Kog'Maw is a solid all-around pick. Let's see if Zhenlong can play him.
Meanwhile, Zero locks in Nami and Sek getting to go back onto Lee Sin once again. Yeah, Kog'Maw is an interesting choice for Zhenlong because he has shown not incredible skill at a lot of AD carries outside of Lucian. I think Yancer once again going to go with that Leona pickup. This is a little bit safer. Oh, wow, and they're going to take Jax away from Cola. This is a total anti-pick strategy from Young Glory, and I don't think we've seen number one on too many Jax pickups. He has done it a few times, and it's like a complete reversal from the last game. This time Cola is going to be on Gragas, and Uzi is going to be on Lucian.
Right, so YG understands, basically because Starhorn Road Club did not pick up either Jax and or Gragas, YG now understands that the members of Starhorn Road Club are trying to counterpick the solo lanes. They want to give their solo laners a chance to do well against number one, to do well against Diangun. So what they're doing is they're basically waiting to, pick their solo laners, right? So they saw the top laner, and then they responded with a Gragas for Cola, and now they're going to wait for Diangun. Diangun will possibly go on that Orianna, and I believe that they'll counterpick the Orianna as well. So really, pretty interesting, thinking coming out from Starhorn Road Club. Usually you'd like to see the early, their dominant champions taken early. I would have locked in the Gragas and the Ziggs, but it looks like Starhorn is going to go for the counter picks and to try to win in each and every single lane, especially since their lanes recently have been exposed a lot. We've put them on blast and said that they're very weak in the scope of the Chinese League of Legends landscape, professional League of Legends landscape. So not a bad idea from the members of Starhorn Road Club to give their individual players the biggest chances they can to carry the games, and I think Ziggs is a very good answer. And, I actually mentioned before that they should have picked Ziggs Gragas in the first rotation. It looks like they're going to get those two power champions anyways. So Starhorn Road Club has a very nice composition to go against a Jax, Skarner, Kog'Maw composition. I think SHRC really won this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, almost a complete turnaround of the picks last game.
Yes, sir.
With the exception of the junglers being on the exact same champions and Yancer getting Leona again. Everybody else pretty much did a swap. Braum was banned, so Zero went to Nami. But it's really crazy that they pretty much just flip-flopped it.
Right. It basically is the swap that you're talking about. So the thing is, though, we didn't really get to see these compositions interact. We did see how burst-reliant that the current Starhorn Road Club and former Young Glory team composition is. But in terms of analyzing professional play and how these compositions interact, we didn't get to see a lot of that in the last game because a lot of, the tide and momentum of the last game was mostly determined on who could set up a pick on who and who had worse vision control. So hopefully we get to see a little more high-level play in this match. The second game between Starhorn Road Club and Young Glory. Of course, Starhorn Road Club won Game 1.
Can Young Glory bring it back around to 1-1 the series and continue the historical trend for Starhorn Road Club, or will they finally take that elusive 2-0? We will find out when we get on to Summoner's Rift. We will be back in just a moment, guys. And there we are, loading up onto Summoner's Rift for the second time today. It's going to be still the first set, game number 2. It is week 6, day number 3, the LPL Summer. And once again, here we are, Soldra. Young Glory coming out of the gates, looking for possibly a bush camp here. They're leading the charge with number 1. He's going to face tank Insect's Q, and he's going to keep on chasing forward. And they get the D board. There they go. Going to the muscling through for this red buff.
Yeah, and nice early ward. I don't know what YG wants to do right now. What teams that grab Leona, what they often do is they like to lane swap and then send the Leona roaming. A classic, the most classic example of teams that like to employ this strategy is Word Elite. They will often put Conan on the Leona, and Conan will often roam at the 2.5-minute mark and the 4.5-minute mark to try to make plays towards the mid lane or around the jungle. Now, Young Glory, again, so now we're reversing the roles, right? So now Young Glory is the team that doesn't have to do much in the early game. All they have to do is wait it out, try to scale well, just get to that 30 to 35-minute mark, and they'll be completely fine. Alternatively, the side of Starhorn Royal Club will have to do what Young Glory failed to do in Game 1, namely try to snowball their advantages, engage in early team fights, control Dragon, eventually control Baron from 20 to 30 minutes, and really try to use superior vision control to manipulate the members of Young Glory. And I think that Starhorn can do that. Whether they will is a question that we'll leave up to them, because we've often seen that Starhorn can do a lot of things, but they just choose not to.
They're certainly capable of performing.
Yeah.
It's just questionable if they make the right calls this game. Looks like it will be a lane swap in favor of Young Glory after they do the double red buff steal contest and the Jungle Buddy system comes in. Yancer, we see Cola waiting in the bush. This isn't the first time this has happened, actually, just sitting waiting for the experience, but Yancer is going to chase him out, and he forces him to dash away. It's a good thing he took E at level 1.
Yeah, I mean, he probably skilled, he probably just skilled at the last moment, or upgraded his body slam at the last moment. But, I mean, we've seen too many Chinese Graguses try to pull that trick off for that maneuver to work anymore, hiding in the bush to leech off experience.
Even Ackerman did, too, in the LCS the other
Ackerman
weekend.
In the LCS,
that was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, that was really... I think Ackerman got something like 3 or 4 levels off of that, so that was really
the most
bad.
Patient. I think I've seen anyone really play in a long time. But starting this game off, this allows a bit of free push potential over to Uzi and Zero, and they are definitely going to have a bit more of an early game advantage. However, this will be playing up to the strengths of Young Glory's comp because they don't have to worry about a lot of early game initiation. So it's going to be on the back of Insect to make early plays once again. He didn't quite pull it off last time. He's gotten Lee Sin twice now. Let's see if he changes anything as the 3-man roam goes through the jungle.
Right, obviously, Young Glory, they do enjoy not having to deal with too much in the early game, but at the same time, this gives Starhorn Road Club a lot of gold, puts 2 members towards the Dragon side so they can get the early Dragon, and then, take down that first Tier 1 turret so the members of Starhorn Road Club can group even earlier and start to siege down turrets while the strength of their composition allows them to do so. So I'd say that both teams are relatively happy with this, but I think Starhorn Road Club knows that they have to take full advantage of this of these 2v1 lanes, and make as many plays happen as possible.
Yeah, not Cola. I did someone last game. Now I think it's him again. Number 1 has to be careful not to take too much damage in the beginning. He is Jax. He can sustain through this, but not as well as Cola's going to be able to on that Gragas pickup. And
right.
Zhenlong is not Uzi. He's not going to rock this Kog'Maw nearly as hard. We'll have to see how the top lane progresses, but for the meanwhile, Yancer going with the roam, looking for a pick, and so far Insec is here too. This is going to be a pretty epic battle right now, as it's already begun. Zero getting chased down very quickly, nice ticking away at him. Number 1 flashing away, Yancer, half his health bars down, and they just completely misplay it as Starhorn turns it around. The 3v3 doesn't end in any deaths for anyone. Well, maybe not just yet, as Korn dueling it out right now. Is he going to be able to get any more damage? Not quite.
Oh, nice heal.
Dangoon, yeah, nice use of that one. Summoner heal popped, though, on Korn, and be happy with that one. Insect looking to try and make a play. If Dangoon sticks around, this could be trouble for him. However, Korn is pretty low. He's going to be able to run away.
Right. Dangoon could actually decide to flash forward right now and try to pick up a kill. Oh, he doesn't have the Ignite. He has the heal. So,
the Sonic Wave nearly hits.
Decides to go out.
That was close.
That was really close.
These engages have been extremely close.
Yeah, the most interesting part about the past few fights, and especially in the bottom lane, was that I believe that Yancer and Yinfu actually saw Insect coming in, so they know that they shouldn't have been able to outduel the members of YG, or maybe they did think that they could outduel, which, that's bad judgment, right? So, YG ends up with a failed gank because Insect reads the enemy jungler very well. He knows that the support, who's supposed to be in the top lane theoretically, hasn't shown for a very long time, and that Yanseer is most likely trying to make plays. Remember, Yanseer did play this Leona last game, and he's had mixed results. So you really want to see whether he can redeem himself in time to give Young Glory a win.
Yeah, now you see Insec making his presence known in the top side, trying to help out Cola just a little bit. Uzi still has a lot of farm to deal with, but realizing the junglers here, Yinfu can make a play somewhere else on the map. He's just elected not to. And this is an interesting mix-up of things. So you have both supports bot side, but it's a Jax to Uzi's Lucian. So I'm not sure how this is going to go early on.
I mean, you saw right there that the members of Starhorn Road Club, namely Insec and Cola, made an effort to push in the top lane wave into, I guess what is now Zhenlong's turret, right? And then they were both able to back, so that usually means that Starhorn Road Club is going to set up for a dragon very soon.
He gets locked up, make Inferno Bomb. He tries to go in to make a play on Uzi, but he'll fall down for first blood almost 7 minutes into this game. And well-deserved by Starhorn. They really have been applying a little more pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, this dragon is free right now, especially since Starhorn Road Club just went back and bought. I mean, Insec is currently maximizing his gold right now. So is Cola. So Cola can duel effectively with that Kog'Maw on the top lane in addition to having that teleport. So it looks like full steam ahead for Starhorn Road Club right now. They're looking really strong in the early game.
Taking the turret instead of opting for the dragon just yet. Now Yinfu in the picture. They should be able to contest this. Insec will have to back away. So he sees Diangoon motioning for that jungle side. But they'll be happy that they managed to pick themselves up the first turret. Slight gold lead now in their favor. And Insec actually now hovering around the dragon, but his teammates are backing away, so he can only put a ward down.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea for Zhenlong to recall right now, collect the wave in the bottom lane, possibly push it out, and then be in place for the impending dragon fight that's about to break out right now.
Yeah, should be contested pretty soon here, and both teams just waiting for the other to make a move on this. It's kind of interesting that despite his free farm for a good amount of this game, Zhenlong has only been able to pick up about 5 or 6 more farm than Uzi. That's kind of telling in this early game.
Right.
Going forward now, it looks like they're motioning on the side of Starhorn to try and get in position to take this dragon down. There is still a wave to be pushed out, and Uzi wants that farm where he can do it, but missing pings are coming out from the side of Young Glory. They've got to know that this is about to be happening. Diangoon.
Yeah, and you can... Right, and I mean, this is Starhorn Road Club is in a really nice position right now, because what they can do is they can basically just poke YG to death, and because Cola has the teleport in the top lane, and the Kog'Maw was forced to go to the bottom lane in order to contest this dragon that's about to take place. All of the waves are pushing in SHRC's favor. So really, Starhorn Road Club in a really nice position to make a play right now. They can possibly get a top lane turret and the dragon if they play their cards right. So look for some moves. Young Glory posturing.
They want to make a pick here, and Zero Uzi are having
they
none
need
of
to.
this.
I mean, Young Glory can't contest anything unless they make a pick. I mean, and so now Cola has full items too, so Starhorn Road Club can do this dragon whenever. So I don't blame the members of YG for wanting to make a pick right now, especially in the face of the impending team fight that's about to occur.
Yeah, with the reset of the lanes, they're just trying to use Zhenlong as bait here. But this is a lot of time being spent by Yinfu hanging out in this bot side bush, and meanwhile Insec is already back. So neither jungler really having a huge impact on this game. Once again, this time though Yinfu is even less effective, and Insec's about the same as he was. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been making these plays, opting for the Lee Sin twice now.
Well, the 2v1 will greatly inhibit your ability to make plays, just because in a 2v1, jungle pathing is really predictable.
Yeah, so now trying to feel it out, Uzi is seeing if he can get a little bit of poke off onto this Kog'Maw. He wants to go around for it. There's the tidal wave being spent, flashing forward. Yinfu's going to get zoned away. Insec now in the picture. Mega Inferno Bomb going to come in from downtown. They don't need it, though. It's going to get dodged away. Yanser is trying to kite away. He's got no tower to fall back to, and Uzi going to pick himself up. A nice kill. They lose 0 in that one, although Yanser and Yinfu both went down, and it looks like it's going to be Zhenlong as well. Now it is time for Starhorn Royal Club to motion for this dragon. Going on it
and that's
right
going to be
now
a
with Insec.
yeah, that's going to be a free dragon, and Cola is really pressuring number one in that top lane turret, as you can see. I mean, just the funny thing about that was that it was a really obvious bait coming out from YG. I mean, there was no reason for Yancey's Leona not to put pressure in lane unless that they were trying to bait something. So good read from Starhorn Road Club to eventually respond to that and have Korn roam down to the bottom lane with that Mega Inferno Bomb to put as much pressure as he can on the three members, namely the AD carry, support, and jungler of Young Glory. Additionally, I'm pretty sure that Zero's Nami ultimate, the tidal wave, interrupted Yinfu's Impale mid-cast. So that was a really kind of funny animation to watch. Yeah.
He got it off, but it stopped
cast
it, and then
the
tidal wave knocked him back, even though he flashed forward almost into it. That was a really nice play. And Insec.
So he spent a flash and his ultimate, but he didn't get anything out of it. So just a really nice play coming out from Zero to protect his AD carry, and Uziel was just able to completely clean up with the help of Insec being there. I mean, just nice plays coming out from Starhorn Road Club all around. And we've said before, when SHRC is behind in the early game, that's when they really falter. That's when they're vulnerable to tilt. But when they're ahead, there aren't a lot of times that Starhorn has lost when they're ahead. Yeah.
He's getting locked up. The Impale comes down, but they can't quite follow him up. Cola now in the picture, seeing if he can kite out Yancer. Might be able to do it. Zero's going to fall Zenith Blade. The UZI manages to get away from that one and get the kill off. Living Artillery's coming out, though. That is a low health bar on Lucian, and it looks like it's not going to be enough to take him down, however, as they get another kill. Cola doing a good job to kite it out. And Cathy Surprise won't be enough to take him down. Yinfu has to back away from this as well.
I wonder if Yinfu's going to die right here, or possibly they're going to go for another play. I don't think that Tiangun can do much. Yeah, especially since Korn does still have that Mega Inferno Bomb.
Yeah,
what that means though is that number one will get a lot of free time in the top lane.
Starhorn is looking a little bit better going into this game, just because they have been able to set these plays up. Yeah. If they can keep focusing these kills on Uzi and channeling the big plays on Insec, they can definitely steamroll ahead and not let this late game Jax get up to the level that he needs to be. Now Insec looking to make a play. Speaking of that Jax, number one, continue to happily farm away, but Cole is going to be in lane pretty soon. Insec biding his time, and he's going to get face-checked into the bush. The kick goes in. There's going to be a leap strike to try and get away from this one. Cola rushing to try and get in. They can't follow up on the damage, but that was a very nice attempt by Insec, and he has been a little bit more active in the last couple of minutes, certainly. It's like he turned something on. Flipped a switch, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, just, when all of your lanes are winning so decisively like this, it is pretty easy to make plays. Additionally, I mean, Insec's job is not hard right now. All he has to do is secure objectives. Secure objectives and ward, and make sure he wards well. And, that's what the early Sightstone is for, right? Insec hasn't even completed his jungle item yet to get that early Sightstone. Now he's going to look to, besides, ward hopping everywhere, he's going to look to really grab firm control of the enemy jungle. I mean, Starhorn Road Club is 5,000 gold ahead right now. I think exactly 4,600. I mean, they're really far ahead at the 14-minute marks.
That Kog'Maw takeaway pick is starting to look a little foolish right now.
Yeah.
Zhenlong has not performed nearly as well on this.
And I mean, Zhenlong has the right responses right now. I mean, he got the early phage for the early mobility because he knew that he had to be a lane bully, and B, he had to be able to move around in the face of all of the poke and AoE damage coming out from the side of Starhorn Road Club. But it's just not enough at this point.
Now, they've got to start setting up picks if they want to stay relevant. They do have late game scaling, but they have to be able to make some objective plays. Yinfu going to try for that right now, but he gets spotted out by a ward. Has to back away from that one. Insec is favoring this top side, trying to make sure that number one gets shut down as much as possible. Cola now chasing him on forward. Going to get the dash in. That's a whole lot of damage. He's going to leap strike back into it. Here's Insec once again. That's going to be a dead Jax. Down he goes, and Cola picks up his second kill of the game. Meanwhile, on the bot side, just a little bit of trading results and nothing really doing, but Uzi waiting to set up something. And he's going to get some help from Korn here as Yinfu favoring the spot side. There's a collapse coming in, though. Dan Goon wants to make a play now onto Uzi. Can they get this shutdown? He's not in a good spot, though, on his own, and they're going to get seen out. Solar Flare not going to land on anybody. Uncharacteristic mistake from Yansur, and now it looks like Dan Goon trying to kite away, but he's got nowhere to go in the Dragon Pit, now chasing Korn through Uzi. Going to
really nice tidal wave.
That is a nice flash and pale. Uzi getting locked up. That's exactly what they needed to do by Young Glory right there. Korn has to get away from this one, but he's trying to kite back for a little more damage, waiting for Insec to come in for a play.
I mean, where was Insect? Where was Insect during that fight? I mean, I think he might have checked the enemy blue buff, but really he should have been there for the dragon. Just obviously the dragon's not up for another minute, but control. Wow, almost a really nice flash Q from Insect. First of all, Zero had a really nice tidal wave. I mean, Zero's Nami has been on point really throughout this game, and he's been playing really well. You know, this is a guy who didn't get a lot of chances on the KT roster bullets, but he's certainly showing his stuff while on Starhorn World Club. No doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that he is the best supporter in China right now. That's not a huge loss for Starhorn World Club. You know, losing UZI during that. I think it was a 1-for-0 trade, right? And only UZI died during that fight. Only because the dragon wasn't up during that. After that skirmish, and that YG wasn't able to press for any other objectives. So Starhorn World Club is able to reset. UZI is actually able to spend all of his gold, so now he has his Eye Edge and an Avarice Blade. I don't necessarily agree with the Avarice Blade buy, but, you know, to each his own.
UZI is still up and up on kills right now, and he has
quite a lot
in his pocket despite getting beaten down by that one. Well, that's going to be another kill. Number 1 going down to the combination of Korn and Cola in the top side. This Ziggs has been roaming pretty crazy, but he's not at the same level Diangun was. However, they've got UZI 4-1 on Lucian right now. Compare that to Zhenlong's Kog'Maw, and it's kind of night and day. This dragon now being started up. Insect making the call. Zero going to come around the side. They've got to worry about Diangun's Orianna, but there's no follow-up available. Yancer now rushing with Yinfu and Zhenlong to get to the area. They're going to get a bubble up. Insect might be able to get this one, but he's on the wrong side of the pit. He's going to take it down just barely. The fight's going to commence. Insect's got nowhere to go. Has to flash away from this one. Now, Jack's in the picture. Chasing forward. They find Zero on the outside. That was a nice disengage, but Korn going to have to run away from this one. Starhorn already lost one member, but they turned it around and managed to pick up one more. UZI going down. Number 1 gets him in this one,
job.
and they are nicely disengaging this, but they've lost 2 for the dragon. Now mid lane under fire. Starhorn Royal Club doing everything they can to make one tiny advantage out of all of that. They have given up a little bit, but they still come out relatively ahead, and they still are rocking a pretty solid gold lead going into this mid game.
I mean, really, the problem was that Cola didn't rotate enough in order to, you know, create any kind of zone control during that fight. So, and because of that, UZI had to put himself in a dangerous position in order to help take Dragon, and that really put him in a bad position to fight. He was able to escape the initial Zenith Blade and was able to flash over a part of the wall, but just a nice impale coming out from Yinfu Skarner was able to clean that fight up. The Starhorn World Club does get the Dragon, though, so, you know, another nice gold advantage for them. They are now 6,000 gold ahead at the 18-minute mark, which is absolutely gargantuan, frankly. And yeah, you know, Pyra, I really think that Kog'Maw has the best set of skins in the game. I think Ezreal and Lee Sin can contend, but I think Kog'Maw really has a nice set of skins. I mean, Butterfly Kog'Maw is just unreal. Jurassic Kog'Maw is a good skin too, and so I don't know what that's called, Murloc Kog'Maw, like.
Oh, they'd have to pay Blizzard a hefty fine if they wanted to officially call it that. But I think that's what everyone refers to it as. He is a cute little void thing, isn't he? I personally am a huge fan of a lot of the Ziggs skins. I think they're really, really cool.
Oh, the Pool Party Ziggs is popular.
Yeah, that's the one that I have, actually, and that one is super duper fun because all the sound effects that change too.
Yeah,
his satchel charge is a rubber ducky. Yeah, that's super duper fun.
I mean, yeah, just.
But
we reset the lanes right here.
This game, yeah, this is going to result in the lane reset, but still 2 towers to none right now. A very slow march to victory for Starhorn so far. They've been setting up good picks, and they have a nice lead here. But how did they transition this mid-game power spike that they're about to hit, or that they have hit, really, into a lasting game? You know, they need to take these objectives right now, and they're sort of just wandering around blind. Sorry, bad joke.
Yancier's doing the right thing right here because
whoa, Insect! Wow, at the last second he goes back for the Q. The Summoner Heal popped. Ball's gonna land. Insect taking tower shots, but they still secure it. A nice double team, and now Zero's gonna help them take down the tower. We asked the question, what do they do to get into this one? And they get into it in style. Big kill, capitalizing. Top lane tower just goes down in favor
YG's out of position to
YG,
respond
but
to.
yeah, they can't really do anything about this. Bottom tower under siege as well. UZI and Zero are able to take a huge bite out of this one. They might even get it down. Pings are flying left and right. Now you see Cola dueling it out with #1, and he's got that Lich Bane build. Should be able to get around a little bit faster. Make Inferno Bomb now. Uzi, he's going to go down. Oh my goodness, he nearly takes Kog'Maw with him. Ignite's ticking away. He might get him just yet. Still, 1 more, 2 more. That's all it needs. He's still alive in this one. Yansur now chasing out Zero. Should be able to secure this one up. Last second flash. I don't believe it. Yansur stays alive. The bouncing bombs don't connect, and Korn chasing as fast as he can. The kite is so real right now, and Yansur staying alive. Oh my goodness. It's still a 1-for-1. They finally get him a jump forward, but he's getting answered right now by DeanGoon. Zero is in the picture, but it's a 1v2. I think he'll still secure this one, or maybe not. Command Shockwave is huge. He's going to get 2 kills, and he goes down, but it's a brilliant trade in favor of Starhorn Royal Club. So close, 3 for 2, and they stem the pressure. Well played by YG in that.
Wow, Zero got blown up during that fight. My goodness.
Critical hit, big time.
Jesus, and you know, it kind of goes to show you, because DeanGoon knew exactly what he could do, because you know, you could tell that was DeanGoon's plan all along, because he flashed forward in that fight with confidence. He flashed forward into a 2v1. What a really nice command Shockwave, and you know, of course, the whole combo. You know, the dissonance coming out as well from Oriana's ball. I mean, that was a lot of damage.
How about Yansur staying alive, man? I got to get a sound effect for that one. That was incredible dodging mechanics.
That was really nice.
And Young Glory is showing much better strategy, much better mechanics than they have.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Yansir's doing the right thing right now. And I was in the middle of the point before the fight broke out. You could see Yansir going around looking for... Oh, we see a small fight between Cola
and... replay here.
Does Cola get the here?
I think he does. The chase was very real through all of this. No, it's Insect that picks that one up. So that was quite nice, actually. Starhorn still came out ahead, but not as dominantly as you might have expected.
Decisively. And I'll say this, and I keep wanting to say this, but really it's about Zero.
Uzi Eye goes down! We don't have time to talk about this soldier, because meanwhile, the chase is on. Insect trying to revenge the kill back onto DeanGoon, who has looked so great this game. He will finally fall. 3 and 4 does not reflect the play that DeanGoon has been at on this Oriana. Meanwhile, Cola will teleport into the bottom and stop the #1 aggression on this tower. So nicely played, so back and forth.
I really think that Cola should have stayed in the middle lane and tried to siege down that turret, because that mid turret is so important right now.
What was he doing there? I don't know at all. And #1 now, dueling it out with Zero. This is crazy. This game is turning on its head, Soldra. I don't know what to make of it. Leaf Strike's going to be up in a second. Zero, can he get away from this one? I don't think so. Feeding the Jacks.
I'm going to tell you why Starhorn Royal Club is getting has been getting demolished in the past 5 minutes.
They're still demolishing as they take down Zhenlong. Insect now. He's got nowhere to go, and Cole is just like, well, I can't follow up on that. Maybe I can now that Uzi Eye is here. But look at this Jax. He is starting to hit his stride. Kiting out best he can. Still taking shots. Actually, he's going to go down here. Uzi Eye picks him up. And they didn't follow up on this one as well. Yansur going in on Uzi Eye. Blown up with the... Everything was spent. The explosive cast comes out. And Yin Fu staying alive. Cola looking for something, but he's going to fall. How about DeanGoon this game?
Really nice play coming out from DeanGoon. What a game, what a set he's having, actually. You know, first on that Ziggs and on that Oriana, and I'm finally going to say, I don't care if you interrupt me, the reason why Starhorn Royal Club has been faltering in the past 5 minutes of this game has been because of the difference between Yansir and Zero. Yansir has been roaming so well this game, really. I mean, this guy has been everywhere, but Zero, I mean, Zero's just been sticking with UZI. What Zero has to do is, what people said, this, you know, Nami is a champion that they call her a defensive champion, but Nami becomes extremely aggressive when you're on the highest level of support mechanics. Zero is a player who can channel the highest tier of support mechanics. This guy has to put the team on his back like he's been doing all along in this LPL season, and really try to make plays and try to out-rotate Yansir, put correct ward coverage down, and try to make some picks, because, you know, Yansir's completely destroying him in that department right now. I mean, what a game from DeanGoon and Yansir, just single-handedly, well, I guess with 2 sets of hands from both of these players, bringing back Young Glory into this game. I mean, wow.
Yeah, Yansir really
we might see the opposite of what happened last game.
This is why OMG bans Leona now. It's all that man in the bot lane. Yansir has been fundamental in keeping Young Glory alive throughout this game. The kill spread starting to even up, but the gold lead's still heavily in favor of Starhorn Royal Club. Yinfu been making a couple of plays here, but I really want to give this one to the combination of #1 and Dian Goon. They have been hyper carrying, and this is considered to be one of the weaknesses of this Young Glory squad, that they favor it so intensely.
Yeah,
they favor the double carry top, and it you know, well, maybe it doesn't really cause too much friction like it maybe does on like LGD, but you got to see who's going to get those kills at the end of the day. They've both been participating very well this game. Starhorn, despite the lead, is hesitant to make a big play because they do have a ticking clock above their heads.
I mean, Starhorn, I'm sure the members of Starhorn Royal Club are very worried right now. Obviously, the goal, it's still a 7K gold lead, and I think in terms of overall exchanges, Starhorn Royal Club didn't lose much. I mean, I think they got 1 or 2 towers out of it, and they went relatively even on kills. Yet, the cause for pause, however, is that YG was able to pick up so many advantages despite the fact that Starhorn Royal Club was 7,000 gold ahead. So, what does this mean for the rest of the game? You know, the members of Starhorn have to be asking themselves, what does this mean for the rest of the game, given that Young Glory's composition scales so well into the late game?
Well, and the dive is so real, too. Look at Uzi.
Yeah,
goes from nearly deathless to now he's got as many kills as he does deaths. And
yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that's not boding well, especially for somebody that is expecting
yeah, they're
carry.
worried.
Oh,
I mean,
Cola.
they're definitely worried.
He dives into Yinfu, but has a nice little bait and switch. They play a little happy slaps back and forth, don't land anything on anyone. Insect, though, around the side, waiting in the brushes for Yanser or somebody. Maybe he doesn't want Yanser. He's like, I don't want to deal with that. He's going to back away.
Yes, he is. Obviously, the mission for Young Glory stays the same. All they have to do is try to delay the game as much as possible. Interestingly enough, though, and Young Glory does get a mid-tier turret for this.
They're pushing. They're doing more than waiting.
Yeah. What Starhorn Royal Club has to do is they have to all converge on the members of Young Glory at one point in time. The only thing is, though, right, and they have to basically chain their CC, chain their burst, chain the wombo combo.
This is happening right now. Cola taking a big shot from Oriana, but they're going for it. The Impale's coming in. Mega Inferno Bomb going to land. Everybody's melting on the side of Young Glory as Uzi gets brilliant positioning, and Young Glory is going down. 3 members dead. Yinfu, Yanser down for the count as well, and it's only Shenlong the Dragon, but I don't think he can take a 1v4. He can try, but he's going to go down. This is going to be a Baron in favor of Starhorn Royal Club. Kathy and Surprise gets completely just tanked by the rest of Starhorn, and they have to be happy. Sacrificing Cola for an ace and a Baron at 28 minutes into this game. They're going to push down. Way too greedy from Young Glory.
I mean, Starhorn Royal Club, their composition is all about landing as much burst onto as many targets, preferably the black backline of YG, as quickly as possible, right? And when you're all clumped up like that, trying to converge on, first of all, Yinfu, I don't know why Yinfu tried to impale the Gragas, because despite the fact that, Jiangun got a nice command dissonance onto Cola, Cola's not the target you're looking for. It's UZI and Korn. Both of them are pretty fed right now.
And here they go.
And you can just look at this replay. Yeah, they clump up in this huge circle.
And the wave was insane. They couldn't do anything. Kog'Maw stayed alive for a little while, but UZI just kited everything out. This was a complete mechanical outplay and much better forethought. Also, Korn shutting down Yanser, perfectly placed bouncing bomb.
I mean,
and that was all she wrote.
UZI got a triple kill in that fight. And UZI didn't even have to kite anything. There was just so much crowd control and burst in that composition. You can immediately tell while YG was clumped up that they were all dead. So really poorly played from Young Glory. They should have known that. They should know that the members of Starhorn Royal Club are dependent on their burst and how much of that burst, how much of that damage they can land onto as many targets as they can.
Yep, there we go. Now they're looking to try and find Insect around the side. Cola and Zero are there as well. Young Glory still spoiling for a fight despite the 4-man Baron on the side of Starhorn Royal Club. But they really shouldn't be doing this right now. Oh, maybe they should, because Zero, he gets caught up, and they get a kill over to Zhenlong. Now they're rolling. Yansir looking to take a fight, and then Impale comes out onto Gragas again. That is going to be a big Mega Inferno bomb, but it doesn't matter. They get 2 for none so far. Yansir staying alive in this. Leona tanking up so much damage, but they're okay with it. Yinfu chasing Ziggs away, and Young Glory march on through this jungle. Insect looking to flank. Can he do it? He's got himself a Banshee's Veil. It gets burned. The kick goes down. Yinfu gets locked up and shut down as Korn takes that one. Young Glory says, all right, now we got to get out of here.
I mean, this really looks like a repeat of what was happening last game. We were giving so much credit to the members of Starhorn Royal Club for making all the right early moves, for taking advantage of their power spike, for using ward control well, for being able to chain their crowd control and their damage. But really, this is just so sloppy. I mean,
yeah,
you know what? If you want to be known as
Uzi, speaking of sloppy, Command Shockwave comes in unnecessarily even, and number 1 takes the kill credit onto Uzi. Bit of bad positioning, but Starhorn will secure themselves another dragon this game. Now the side push, well, the 4-man push is happening for Young Glory, but they're not certain about this one. Wards littering the jungle. They know exactly what's going on. Lee Sin might be blind, but he can see this from a mile away. Insect coming around the side. Can he get the flank out? He's been doing this one all game. He finds number 1. They're dueling it out for just a minute. Zero now coming in. And Cola as well. They find Yansir, but there's Oriana right there. Mega Inferno Bomb going to land. It's going to burst a lot of health, and that is a dead Zhenlong. Yansir now being chased out. Kickback. They find Diangoon. Insect is going forward. Summoner heal pop, but Korn, nicely placed Rubber Ducky, manages to secure that kill once again, and they trade 3 for 1. Uzi might have been caught, but they really got the revenge on it, and now Starhorn Royal Club really turning up the gas, pushing forward at 32 minutes in. Yinfu's got nothing to stop this, and I don't think number 1 can either.
Oh my goodness, this is a terrible... Okay, so I need to take a shot.
Well, my co-caster is off doing other things. Starhorn Royal Club is marching down the front line right now. The gold lead is becoming massive, Soldra.
So this is just... The thing is, though, right, we can talk about the gold lead all we want, but then the way both of these teams have been playing this game really doesn't matter. And obviously that favors Young Glory, right? But then, again, if you want to be known as... And this is just bad. If you want to be known as a top 4... Chinese League of Legends team, right? You can't allow these kind of avenues to open. I mean, EDG doesn't let this happen. World Elite...
What was God. Number 1 thinking there? Face checking the bush, thinking he could kite it out. Now it looks like Zhenlong is going to get blown up. Just completely poor positioning from the side of Young Glory, and all they have to do is hold it out. Now here's the counter engage, though. Can they make something happen? Nice solar flare lands, but everybody's getting bursted down, and it looks like Yinfu and Yansir get chased out. Command Shockwave going to land on Insect. Not enough damage to take him down. Diangoon is trying to put the team on his back, but he can't do it alone, and it looks like Yinfu, staying alive just barely, gets himself back to Fountain, but this is going to be the first inhibitor of the game. 33 minutes in. Oh my goodness! Uzi comes around the side, blows Diangoon up, and they're looking for inhibitor number 2, or maybe just to end the game.
Yeah,
this is going to be it. It's going to be a 2-0 for Starhorn here, Soldra.
This is
the end of it. I mean, it was a little bit better here for Starhorn, and they really turned the pressure up. Young Glory could not do a thing despite their team composition. This is going to be the Nexus down. 33.5 minutes. Starhorn Royal Club take themselves a 2-0 on our first set of the night.
This was not a well-played game. EDG doesn't do this, OMG doesn't do this, World Elite doesn't do this, so why does Starhorn Royal Club, which has an equal amount of talent, if not more talent than those teams, have to play this way? Really just poorly played. I think there were flashes of mechanical brilliance, actually, from both of these teams, but just really poorly
tried to put the team on his back.
Diangoon, I think Diangoon and Yansir, albeit Yansir got his favorite pick, that Leona, twice, so he was put in a position to try to carry his teammates, but really just very poorly played from both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I really have nothing left to say. I really have nothing left to say.
I think you said it all. So, guys, we will be taking a quick break while Soldier goes and does what he does in between games like that, apparently. But we will be back with some analysis and analyst desk. Is that what I'm trying to say? I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
As we wait for our break to go. But please, until then, enjoy the commercials and the highly inspirational stuff that we're seeing about the LSPL on screen right now. But guys, we'll be back, and when we return, a little bit of analysis, and then set number 2 of the night, it will be Invictus Gaming taking on OMG.